Okay, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the sort of default early to late medium wipe kit that we generally run. There's been some interest in us explaining why we wear what we wear, how we came to that decision, and hopefully we're going to show you guys why we came to that decision. Advantages and disadvantages, and that way for different situations you can look at the items yourself and pick out things that are going to give you the best chance to accomplish whatever your goals in that particular raid are. We're going to start with the steel helmet, the Dickhead helmet. Now, this helmet is wonderful for a number of reasons. The two most important are it is not incredibly reflective. The airframe stands out. If it's been raining, the Alton, the Riz, any of these will reflect light and stand out even at great distance, even through fog, very, very well. This is not a particularly reflective helmet. You will not see this cut through, similar to, say, the sunglasses that you can wear. It won't brighten up and give away your position excessively. It also has a high ricochet chance. This is important because generally, a couple weeks into the wipe, people will be running on a regular basis the top ammunition in the game. There's really not a lot that's going to save you from that besides the ricochet chance. This is similar to the players you see wearing the Shattered mask. They're hoping for not stopping bullets, but just getting lucky with a ricochet. This helmet also has the advantage of being dirt cheap and available day one from your traders. In comparison, some of the higher end helmets that also share the high ricochet chance. The steel helmet, only armor class 3. An Alton, a Riz, 5 on the face shield, 5 on the helmet. They will stop a bullet of the higher end generally. You still have the ricochet chance. Now what you're trading that off for, what we see here on the right is the statistics. The movement, turning, and ergo debuffs, not that bad compared to these higher armor and heavier helmets. There's no vision reduction like there is with the Alton, the Riz, or the Masca. It repairs very well. But the downside is no face shield. Really, any bullet that they hit you in the face with will put you down. Scav, player, doesn't much matter. I don't worry much about that because generally 2 to 3 weeks into a wipe, everyone's running rounds that'll punch through this face shield in one shot anyway, the helmet in one shot, even for the Masca, rounds that'll go through the helmet in one shot or the face shield in 2. So it's not generally a huge advantage unless you are going for close quarters combat purposefully. The next thing we're going to look at is your contacts. Now, your contacts are personal preference. Some are better than others, but mostly that's due to individual differences. My hearing, not great. Not great. Damaged. But I hear very well in the lower frequencies, the bassier frequencies. Swordens amplify those frequencies. They kind of raise background noise. They lower the volume of it, and they raise the frequency of it. I hear less of it, and I can pick out footsteps, player noises, reloading, things like that, significantly better. Now, it doesn't have the range that some of the newer, bassier headphones have. for what you can hear, the distance you can hear them. But I find, personally, that I can tell the distance that the sound was made at significantly better with the Swordens. Again, this is personal preference. What I recommend is going into an offline raid with scavs and checking a couple very important things. First is vertical sound. Can you tell if the movement is above or below you or on the same level as you? A lot of people have a huge amount of trouble with this in Tarkov. The scary thing is that right now, it's probably the best for vertical sound that it's ever been. I find right now with the Steam audio, and Swordens, anything on a level different to yours, above you, below you, is muffled. All sounds above or below, not on the same level as you, are muffled in the same way. Now, this gets a little murky when people are jumped up on things. They can sound on the same level when really they're jumped up on some crates below you. That's more of a map knowledge thing. Not much to be done about that. The next thing is you want to see, can you adequately track the sound? If you have a wall in between you and a scav walking in this offline raid, can you tell, is he coming towards you? Is he going away from you? Can you adequately track his sound as he walks by? This isn't always going to work at great distance, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when I say you need to know, is he coming towards you or is he running away from you? I don't know how many times it's happened to me where I've been sure that the sound was moving at great pace away from me to have the guy just walk right in front of me. And for me to be absolutely surprised. I do not have that issue very much with Swordens. That's a huge advantage to me. Swordens are also an expensive option, but not out of range with the other contacts available early on in the game. Consistency is key. Once you hit the availability of the Swordens, they're about the same price as the other options. They're gated a little bit behind quests, but consistency is hilariously important. We have a lot of people that will just run whatever contact. They pick it up, they find it in a stash, they loot it off somebody. Consistency will make you consistent. You're switching from GSSHs to Swordens to Contact 2s, all the time. It will mess with you. You will not become accustomed to how different actions sound with different headsets. Very important. Keep that in mind. Find one you like. Stick with it. Up next on our kit is the Kirasa. Now, for the money and the repair, press armor would be better. Neither of them have great stopping power for high-end bullets. They're mostly both for scav protection. The reason we chose the Kirasa, it's got the thorax and stomach covered. It's 3 or above. And most importantly, it matches the turning and movement and ergo debuffs of my favorite higher end armor, the kill armor. This is very important because if you don't know, every piece of equipment that you wear, armor, rigs, helmets, they all affect different stats. I try to keep these as similar as possible so that I can utilize muscle memory, which is not reliable in Tarkov because of the variation in the debuffs from your equipment. If you keep it pretty consistent or reasonably close between the kits you'll run, you have a huge advantage there. Things will never be particularly jarring if you gear up compared to if you're doing sort of budget runs. Again, while this is not an armor for much more than protecting from scav bullets, you will be able to eat 2 to 3 more high-end armor-piercing bullets in a Kirasa than if you were wearing a level 4 or a level 5. Generally, you can take a couple shots, get cover, reposition, and return fire with this, whereas with a level 4 or level 5, you already would have died. Now, the final part of our kit is the Long Dong of the Law. Now, you may be saying, that's just a hunter. You'd be wrong. You'd be absolutely wrong. This is the Long Dong. Polished mahogany. Look at that stock. Okay, we're going to break this down and just go over what does make this different than just a stock Pepper Hunter. The SVD style stock, recent introduction, significantly better ergo and recoil buffs compared to the furniture for the default Hunter. This isn't a live or die sort of thing. It looks nice, but if you ever get pushed, you ever have to point fire with this weapon, you'll be glad you have this SVD style stock on there. It'll make point firing significantly better, the recoil's better, and it costs maybe 5,000 rubles. The PSO1 is our range scope. It needs to be this specific PSO1. The reason is that it allows us to put a close range sight on the gun with the TTO1 rear sight adapter. I prefer the PKO6, mostly for sensitivity. It does not give the best sight picture. You have options though. One popular option that people like for the vastly better sight picture is the Burst Fastfire 3. Both, at this point in wipe, are around a similar price. It's possible that when the PKO6 comes back into traders, we may see it at a lower price on flea market, higher availability. Now, the benefit of this is you have the two sights. You have long range, you have close range. The time to switch is not particularly difficult to adjust to. Now, the sight picture with the PKO6, not great. The PSO does block most of your entire left side. People do prefer the Burris for the obviously better sight picture. The sensitivity, however, is something to get used to. It's a little different. I do not personally use the close-up scope for much more than basically point firing without the negatives that point firing has with such a long semi-auto rifle. So the sight picture isn't that big of a deal. Anything that does fit on the TTO1 should fit as well with this sight. There's a fair amount of options. I would try them out yourself and see what feels comfortable and just kind of get used to it.